All right, what's going on, guys? I'm back with the Slate breakdown videos. I know it's been a while. I know I've been kind of inconsistent when uploading videos. Um, yeah, I don't know what to say. I just kind of got lazy with the videos. Just really didn't feel like uploading or recording and stuff. But I'm back, and I think I'm going to start doing these more consistently now. Hopefully every day, if not every other day. But I just kind of wanted to help people who aren't in a position to buy my lineups um, with DraftKings, even if they're not customers. I know there are still people that support me even though they don't buy my lineups. So this is kind of for those guys who can't afford to buy lineups or don't really want to, but still need help. And yeah, so the way I'm going to do this is I'm going to break down the pitchers first, and then we're going to get to the hitters by breaking down each game. So for pitchers, real quick, we got DeGrom at the top, 13,400. That's Kershaw-esque in terms of price range. And the matchup is really spectacular. The Padres are one of the worst offenses against righties. Um, they strike out a ton. DeGrom, in my opinion, is completely worth it to me. I love DeGrom tonight. I do have some lower priced bats that I can get. I can name for you guys, so it should help fit guys like DeGrom. And obviously, we're gonna have to find a cheaper pitcher to pair with DeGrom, but DeGrom to me is well worth his price. I think he should exceed 30 DraftKings points tonight. Um, yeah, so moving on, we got Zach Greinke against the Braves. Now, Zach Greinke's having a great rebound season after last year. Uh, the Braves aren't the most ideal matchup. They have Freeman, they have Matt Adams, they have Inciarte, who's a threat on bases. So they're a threat. I know they're not ranked that high in terms of WOBA and expected WOBA and stuff like that, but they're a threat if you just look at the matchup. And so if I'm paying 11,900 for Greinke, I'd rather just pay up for Degrom or pay down for Peacock. I love Greinke. He's just not in the best spot for me tonight. And like I just mentioned, I'd rather just save 400 to go Peacock. He's been spectacular this season. Outside that hiccup in the against the Angels, other than that, he's been very solid this season. Uh, Gets a lot of strikeouts. Um, he's starting to pitch deep into the games. Look at that. If you look at his game log, he went from 5, 6, 7. I really like Peacock. Philadelphia is not a great offense. I know he's in the hitter's ballpark, but with that being said, the Phillies offense doesn't scare me enough for me to not play Peacock. Now, Peacock over on FanDuel is much more viable because he's cheaper, and I know in DraftKings he's a lot more expensive. So for FanDuel guys, Peacock is a player that I really like. For DraftKings, I still do like him. Yeah, that's about it. Moving on, we got Paxton. Paxton is kind of a tournament play for me. The matchup against Boston might scare a lot of people, but Boston hasn't really been the best offensive team in baseball this year. I know they have a lot of good hitters, and even when I was doing my research here, there are a lot of guys that match up well with Paxton in terms of what kind of pitches Paxton throws, how often he throws it, and even with all that, though, Paxton is a guy who generates tons of ground balls. He can get strikeouts. So I do like James Paxton a lot. He's regained some form after he got injured. I know he was spectacular to start the season, got injured, kind of was rusty. Now he's back to being spectacular. So I love James Paxton at 10,500. Um, he's cheaper than the other guys, probably has the same upside. So, and he's in Seattle, which is a pitcher friendly ballpark. Moving on to Garrett Cole. I like Garrett Cole. He's done really well recently. He's kind of regained his form. He's finally starting to pitch like the Garrett Cole that we're used to seeing. The matchup against San Francisco, ideal. Matchup, or the ballpark, ideal. Everything about Garrett Cole is good, but I think I'm going to be playing him in some lineups today in San Francisco, because he's in San Francisco, but there's something, just my gut just tells me to fade Garrett Cole today. I don't know what it is. Probably because one of the bats that I do like is a San Francisco Giant, and they are very cheap. But something is telling me to fade Garrett Cole today. You guys should play him. He's in a great spot. You guys should play him. I don't know if I will be. Probably will throw him in a lineup or two, but I'm not trying to talk you out of it. But it's just personally, I just don't really like him that much for some reason. I don't know what it really is. Moving on, we got Justin Verlander. Uh, Verlander in Kansas City has good history against them this season. He's in Detroit, so not as pitcher friendly as Kauffman Stadium, but Uh, so Verlander 8,700. He's starting to show some form in his last 3 games, and really besides that one hiccup in Cleveland, he's shown form for the last 6 starts. So against Kansas City, one of the most dormant offenses in baseball. I like, or although they are starting to heat up, uh, I do like Justin Verlander today. Now we got Josh Tomlin. I'm not sorry, excuse me. I'm not a huge fan of Josh Tomlin. Uh, Eduardo Rodriguez against Seattle, not he's a tournament play because he could get the strikeouts for you. I know he did pitch well against them in the past. Um, Now he's in pitcher friendly park. I don't mind Eduardo Rodriguez at all. Hyunjin Ryu, I love Hyunjin Ryu today. He's my besides obviously the guy's priced over 10,000. He's my favorite mid tier, kind of lower tier play. Minnesota is not a good hitting team against left-handed pitchers, and he's in the friendly confines of the Dodger Stadium. And he's going up against Bartolo Colon, who should get shelled today. Um, so yeah, I love Hyunjin Ryu. Gosman, another tournament play. I know he balled out against Tampa Bay a few weeks ago. A few weeks ago. Right before the All-Star break, I'm pretty sure actually. He had 35.4 points against them. When a pitcher usually balls out against one team, I don't usually go back to him in that same matchup because hitters adjust, hitters adapt. They find a way to. Obviously, there are times where just pitchers have a certain team's number, but Tampa Bay is a really boom or bust team, and I think they boom today. Um, Not like go off for like 10 points, but like I think they give Gosman some trouble today, and for that I'm not going to be playing Gosman. Jason Hamill, not against Detroit. Blake Snell struggles with the command too much, and Baltimore's starting to heat up offensively, so no. Velasquez has the hardest matchup on the slate against Houston. Chris Smith is just, I don't know enough about this guy. I know he's performed well, but I just don't know enough about this guy against Toronto at Toronto. I just tournament play at best. I can't play him in cash games. Dickey, no. I know he's been really solid as of late, but no, not against Arizona, especially at Arizona. Liriano, no. He might be a tourney play because of how much Oakland strikes out against lefties, but cash games absolutely not. And the rest of these guys down here, guys, no, I'm not feeling it. I mean, Clayton Richard maybe because the Mets are very left-handed oriented. Like a lot of the best hitters are left-handed, like Conforto, Jay Bruce, Lucas Duda. But they do have some right-handed bats that could give him some trouble. And Petco Park isn't the most pitcher-friendly ballpark anymore. So Clayton Richard, you could look towards him if you really need a cheap play at 5,400. I'm just not a huge fan. I know, and he's also been really bad lately. If you look at his game log, really inconsistent, really not too good. So that's about it for the pitchers. Real quick, you could look towards Mike Leake. I know he's been very bad lately, but Colorado is just a really bad offense on the road. So maybe Leake gets you about 10, 15 points, maybe. So that's about it for pitchers. Let's move on to the bats. So the first game I'm going to go over here is the Houston at Philly, starting at 7:05. Um, Houston is one of the best offensive teams in baseball, or they might be the best offensive team in baseball, to be completely honest. They have so many threats. Vince Velasquez is the pitcher for the Phillies. Velasquez almost got demoted to the bullpen, but now he's back. In terms of numbers, you want to target Velasquez with right-handed bats because they have the higher ISO, higher WOBA. They don't hit as many ground balls. They hit more fly balls. For that reason, guys like George Springer are in play. Guys like Altuve, Gurriel, Gaddis, Marwin Gonzalez, Alex Bregman. They're all right-handed bats that I like. That doesn't mean you should fade the lefty. Josh Reddy obviously is a great batter against lefties at all point at any situation. And Nori Aoki just had a huge game. So from what I'm seeing, that is their projected lineup. With that being said, the Astros have gotten to a point for me. If you look at just right here, George Springer 5,400, Jose Altuve 5,200. The Astros have kind of become like, let's see, Reddick 4,500. Yeah, to me, the Astros have gotten to the point where like they've been so hot lately, they've kind of felt like Coors Field prices. It's like when the Pirates this weekend were at Coors Field, all their hitters like Josh Herron was 4,800 yesterday, McCutcheon was like 4,800. I just can't fathom playing a guy that expensive, especially tonight when I feel like you have to play like DeGrom, and there are just not that many good pitching options in the cheaper range. I don't think you guys could fit in Astros bats. And I know they're in a hitter-friendly ballpark, but if you look at the kind of pitches that Velasquez throws, how often he throws them, and stuff like that, none of these hitters really match up that well. And for that reason, I don't think I'm going to be having many Astros bats. I know the Astros are currently implied for 5.29 runs, so about 5.5 runs. I don't think I'll be going here, to be honest. I don't think I'll be playing a lot of Astros. Yeah. In terms of the Philly side of things against Peacock, like I told you guys, I love Brad Peacock. There aren't a lot of guys on the Philly side that I really like. Um, I think Peacock is in for a big day. If you want to go really contrarian and want to target hitters against Brad Peacock, go with the lefties as um, they don't ground out as much. So a guy like Nick Williams or Odubel Herrera could be worth the play, but I don't see how you could in a slate this big. I don't see how you could play hitters against Peacock. So moving on, Oakland at Toronto. Now, like I said, I don't know much about this uh, Oakland pitcher. I just know he just got called up. He's been a career minor leaguer. I think he's like 27 years old, Chris Smith. Um, so because of what I just don't know about him, I'm gonna go to the Vegas totals or like the Vegas implied run totals for the team, and the Tampa or the Blue Jays. They're implied for 5.26 runs, which is just around what the Astros were. Um, I don't like any of the Blue Jays today, to be completely honest. They're not the best hitting team right now, and it's just not a known quantity for me. And so like I don't know Chris Smith, so I don't know how to target players against Chris Smith. So I'm just gonna be fading the entire Blue Jay game in general. If you know more about Chris Smith, go ahead and play the Blue Jays. I'm not going to. In terms of Oakland bats against Liriano, I love Rajai Davis at leadoff. He has good history against Liriano. Rajai Davis, I think, is 12 for 33 with a 364 batting average, 1 home run, 7 RBIs. Here's the thing. Liriano does not have the best control. Now, Liriano, there are two Lirianos, one that could show up really, and pitch really well, one that could come out and just not pitch a strike. I'm hoping the one that shows up is the one that can't throw a strike because even if Rajai Davis doesn't get like a single or a home run, he just needs a walk because that's if he gets a walk, that's 2 points. Then he might steal second base. That's five more. And if he steals third on top of that, that's Russell Martin isn't the best at throwing out runners. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. And so I do really like Rajai Davis in this spot tonight. I love Rajai Davis. Marcus Semien has started to heat up. He hits lefties pretty solidly. They're pretty solid. Uh, he's an option if you're looking for a cheap shortstop. There are other shortstop I like more than him, so I don't think I'll be going towards Marcus Semien. In terms of other bats, you could look towards a cheap third baseman in Ryan Healy. Oh, Ryan Healy's 2,900 against, and he hits lefties really well. Um, he hasn't gotten a hit off Liriano yet, but like so the history's not there. But that was only two at bats. Ryan Healy hits lefties really well to a 437 WOBA and a 294 ISO. Now some of that is aided by a 417 BABIP, so he could be regressing a little bit towards the mean. But Ryan Healy at 2,900, he could be worth a flyer. I personally am not a huge fan of him today, just because of the type of pitches Liriano throws and like the matchup there. So next guy is Chris Davis. I'm going to talk about real quickly, guys. Personally, do not fall into the Chris Davis trap today, guys. Everyone's going to see, oh, Chris Davis really hot at the plate. Chris Davis has great history against Liriano, 2 home runs in 17 at-bats for 353 average. I know that all sounds great, but when you're a hitter in this season, you have 26 home runs, or 28 home runs, and 26 of them have come against right-handed hitters. That says something. That says Chris Davis is much more comfortable especially for hitting home runs. Because a guy like Chris Davis, you're picking to hit a home run for you, which is not a good strategy, but some people do that. Out of his 28 home runs, 26 have come against right-handed pitchers. Not only that, Chris Davis is hitting 259 against righties and a 190 batting average against lefties. So this indicates some serious reverse splits here. Obviously, he's more comfortable against hitting against right-handed pitchers. Liriano is obviously a lefty. And so for that reason, I'm not a huge fan of Chris Davis tonight. I'm telling you guys, fade, fade, fade. Do not play Chris Davis. Really no one else to talk about here in this matchup. Josh Phegley was a guy that I was looking into, but eventually I didn't really like him that much. So we're going to move on to the Baltimore and Tampa Bay game. And, okay, so this is a game where I don't think I'm going to be playing hitters from each side, but I don't think I'm going to be playing the pitchers from each side either. It's just like I said, I just don't feel comfortable. Like, I just don't know, so I don't really feel comfortable about playing the guys here. Um, Adam Jones. I'm just gonna get into the hitters real quick. Blake Snell, young pitcher, struggles with command. Has always struggled with command. High strikeout potential though. Struggles with right-handed hitters too. Blake Snell has given up a 354 WOBA to right-handers and a 183 ISO, and a 271 WOBA against lefties and a .061 ISO against the lefties. So target the righties here. Adam Jones, however, not just Adam Jones, but the Baltimore or lineup just really struggles against lefties. Uh, Either way, like Adam Jones, I know he's been really hot lately, and because of that, his price has inflated a ton. Like look at him in the last 6 games. Look how much he's been balling out lately. But I'm gonna trust the numbers here. I'm gonna trust the season stats here. Adam Jones on the season has a 300 WOBA, 152 ISO. Doesn't really do that well against lefties. Um, Manny Machado, he's just I don't like Machado either. I know his price is really cheap now, and he's kind of shown some life maybe, but I don't like him. The only guy I might target, the only two guys actually I might target here in this game against Blake Snell are first, Jonathan Scope. He's just been fantastic this season, and I know you guys talk about Adam Jones and how good he's been. Jonathan Scope's been just as good lately, and he's made me a ton of money because I kept going back to him. So I like Jonathan Scope here against the lefty. Against the lefty, Jonathan Scope has a ridiculous 305 ISO and a 397 WOBA. His BABIP's not even, it's just a 328, so maybe some regression, but it might be indicative of how good he is against lefties. I know the Trop isn't the best hitter ballpark. Actually, it's the worst hitter's ballpark, but I do like Jonathan Scope. The other guy I might target against Blake Snell is Wellington Castillo. At 3,000, his price has really dropped, but when he's played, he's been solid lately. And he hits lefties pretty solid. He has a 358 WOBA against lefties and a 133 ISO. Now, he does have a 450 BABIP. Real quickly, for those of you guys who don't know what a BABIP is batting average on balls in play. So if you hit the ball and it's finding a hole, obviously you're getting a little lucky. And if you have a high BABIP, you're obviously getting a lot more lucky than other guys who hit the ball a ton, hit it hard, but they're right at guys, and they're just outs. So it kind of indicates how lucky of a hitter's been. Wellington Castillo, 358 average, or 358 WOBA. I do like him against Blake Snell. Like I said, Blake Snell struggles with right-handed hitters. So moving on to Kansas, Detroit. I'm going to try to speed it up. We're already at 17 minutes. So maybe it's going to be a longer video, but I really want to make it as in-depth as possible for you guys. Kansas City at Detroit, nothing really to say here. I'm going to try to speed it up a little bit, but really nothing much to say here. I like Verlander as a pitcher tonight. With that being said, Verlander in his career has reverse splits, which means righties hit him better than lefties. However, this season that's not been the case. Lefties have hit him better than righties. So you could look towards guys like Eric Hosmer. I know Lorenzo Cain is in a really good spot tonight. But why target Justin Verlander when you can target Bartolo Colon, or when you can target other poor pitchers like Clayton Richard or Liriano? You know what I'm saying, guys? Why target Justin Verlander when you can target Josh Tomlin or Jason Hamill? So if you want to be GPP and contrarian, you can play Royals guys. I'm not going to go that way. And on the other side of things, against Jason Hamill has reverse splits this season, which means righties hit him better than lefties. Some guys I've highlighted here that I like are, let's see, Nick Castellanos isn't the worst play. Mikey Matuk isn't the worst play. Alex Presley, I know he's a lefty, but I like him a lot today. But besides that, I don't really like a lot of guys here. Also, Jason Hamill doesn't get blown up too much. I'm pretty sure there's some stat I saw. He given up more than 3 runs like once in his last however many starts. So Jason Hamill is not a guy I'm going to be full on targeting. And so for that reason, I'm not going to be playing a lot of Detroit bats. Moving on to Cincinnati, Cleveland. This is my favorite game to target hitters, guys. Finally reaches my favorite game to target hitters. Tim Adelman. He does struggle more with righties than lefties. No, he struggles more with lefties than righties, sorry. And there are a few lefties here that I really like for Cleveland. Starting with Bradley Zimmer. I love Bradley Zimmer tonight. You could go Lindor. I'm probably not going to go him. I'm probably going to pay up to see. When you're talking about Lindor at 4,500, I'd rather just pay up the extra 600 to get Corey Seager, who's in a much better spot. Bradley Zimmer is in a good spot tonight. 3,700. He's a very cheap outfielder. I think he comes through and has a big game. Another outfielder that I like is Michael Brantley at 4,200. Fairly cheap, very hot lately. Could always steal a base for you or two. I know Devin Mazzaraco is the most intimidating catcher, and when it comes to throwing runners out. Um, my favorite two plays from this game are gonna be you guys. If you have get my lineups, you know how much I play him. Jose Ramirez. I love this dude. I think it's a huge game today against Tim Adelman. Uh, Not only does he, the hot zones match up, but like what kind of pitches Adelman throws, how hard Ramirez hits him. Ramirez has a ridiculous 283 ISO against right-handed pitching, and at home he hits him even better. I love Jose Ramirez. And the other bat is Carlos Santana. Um, Carlos Santana, not a bad play at all. 4,200 is kind of been inconsistent, kind of been heating up, maybe showing some life. I know that 238 average isn't ideal, but he has a 330 WOBA and a 181 ISO. And his BABIP has been 295, so he hasn't been getting unlucky, but he hasn't been getting lucky either. So, yeah, Carlos Santana, I know he does have good history against him. I mean, it's just two at-bats, and he homered in one of them. So, Carlos Santana, worth a look at first base for you guys. Moving on to the Cincy side of things against Josh Tomlin. Josh Tomlin has been one of the most hittable pitchers. If you watch Josh Tomlin, he has been I feel like he's one of the, besides Bartolo Colon, I feel like Josh Tomlin is one of the most hittable pitchers. It's literally just, he throws so many strikes and so many balls down the plate that just hitters just make contact a lot of times. And today, Josh Tomlin against the Cincy bats. I know Cincinnati ballpark is more hitter friendly than the Cleveland ballpark, and they're playing in Progressive Field, but I do like some Cincy bats here. Starting off with Billy Hamilton. I think Billy Hamilton could get a single, maybe, and if he gets a single, that's at least 7 points for you because he's going to steal second. Zach Cozart at short. I know he hits lefties a lot more harder than righties does, but he still has a 382 WOBA against righties and a 225 ISO, so I like Zach Cozart. Joey Votto. I'm not going to be playing Joey Votto today, guys. I know he's in a great spot today, but he's been slumping. He's way too expensive. Look at that. He's been in a dreadful slump since July 9th in terms of DraftKings. So, not looking towards Joey Votto. I hope they give him an off day. Hope he can regroup and come back and become the Joey Votto we know. One of my favorite bats is Adam Duvall. I love Adam Duvall today, guys. I think Adam Duvall goes yard against Josh Tomlin. Josh Tomlin, by the way, he's not like a, fly ball pitcher, but he's not really a ground ball pitcher either. He's kind of in the middle. Adam Duvall, love him. I know you look at his game log, not too great lately, but I have a feeling about Adam Duvall. I think he has a huge game. I think he goes yard today. Scooter Gennett, also another guy I really like. Let's get over to Scooter Gennett. There he is. Came through for me yesterday. He's come through for me a lot. I love Scooter Gennett today against the Josh Tomlin. Although Josh Tomlin does pitch better to lefties than he does righties, I still love Scooter Gennett. Another guy I really like is Eugenio Suarez. I think Suarez has a chance to hit one out. Suarez has a 342 WOBA against righties and a 198 ISO. Like I said, Josh Tomlin struggles against righties a lot more than he does lefties. And for that reason, Eugenio Suarez, especially, hold on, where'd you go? At 4,200, which is not that expensive, I think he could have a big game today. And the last guy on the Reds that I like is Scott Schebler. Scott Schebler does hit lefties better than righties, which I didn't know until recently. Then again, I never really played Scott Schebler that much, but Scott Schebler's price has really dropped. He's been in a big slump. I think he busts out of it today against Josh Tomlin. I really like Scott Schebler tonight at 3,300. I really like his upside. Moving on to the next game, we got Miami at Texas. We got Martin Perez versus Adam Conley, two very bad pitchers. When it comes to attacking Martin Perez, I'm doing it from the right-handed side. My favorite play on the slate is JT Realmuto at catcher. He's 30. I think he's at 3,400. Yeah, 3,400. Crushes left-handed pitchers, and he is in a hitter ballpark now. I love him. I love Giancarlo Stanton. I love Marcell Ozuna more so than I love Giancarlo Stanton, but I still like Giancarlo Stanton. But I like Marcell Ozuna more. That was kind of confusing. But anyways, that's the guys I like from that side of the Miami side. On the Texas side of things, I like Adrian Beltre. I like Mike Napoli. And Elvis Andrews. Now, with that being said, there are some... Actually, not Elvis. I like just Beltre and Napoli. Now, with that being said, I don't really even like Beltre and Napoli because there are other guys in their price range, in their positions that I like more. And for that reason, I don't think I'm going to be playing a lot of Houston Tech or Houston, not Houston, Texas Rangers today. Um, yeah. Other guys like I don't really like Chu. I don't like Mazzaro. I don't like yeah. Moving on to Colorado at St. Louis. This game I'm not targeting hitters from either side. Mike Leake has tons of ground balls, and the Rockies are just a bad offense on the road. Everyone knows that. In terms of Senzatella, he gets tons of ground balls, and the Cardinals' offense is just not that good. Moving on to Atlanta and Arizona. R.A. Dickey, he's been very solid. He's been better lately. Not very solid, but he's been better. And when it comes to knuckleballers, I almost never play hitters against them because they're so unpredictable. Um, and Daniel Descalso, I know, is one guy who has good career numbers. I mean, when it comes to knuckleballs, I look at BVP prior history against the hit pitcher because as a hitter, you can either hit a knuckleball or you can't. It's just one of those things. Descalso can. He has good numbers against him. Chris Owings has good numbers against him, and so does Paul Goldschmidt. But I rarely play hitters against knuckleballers because they're so unpredictable. And Atlanta bats against Zach Greinke, I'm not going there. I'm not going to play those guys. Mets at San Diego. DeGrom's my favorite pitcher on the slate, so obviously I'm not playing any Padres bats. Um, Against Clayton Richard, don't target any lefties, please. Lefties ground out at a 70% rate. Yeah, so Conforto, Jay Bruce, those guys are out of the equation. Guys like I'd like Asdrubal somewhat. I don't like Cespedes. He doesn't have a good matchup in terms of pitches and locations and stuff. Wilmer Flores isn't bad. Travis d'Arnaud isn't a bad option at catcher if you're looking for a cheap flyer because he has a 498 WOBA and a 366 ISO against lefties. Now, does have a 464 BABIP, which is ridiculous, so he has a lot of luck, but still, at least he's hitting them. And I don't really know. I don't like targeting hitters against Clayton Richard because he gets so many ground balls. So moving on to Minnesota at LA. Like I said, Hyunjin Ryu is one of my favorite pitchers. For that reason, I don't like any hitters against Minnesota. Now, if you do want hitters against Minnesota, the only one I can really recommend playing is going to be Eduardo Escobar. I do like Eduardo Escobar a decent amount. Pitches that Ryu throws, Escobar hits well. And Escobar is also very cheap, and he hits lefties ridiculously well. He went yard off a lefty yesterday, I'm pretty sure. So I like Escobar. Here's my favorite offense of the day, and it shouldn't be surprising. It's against Bartolo Colon, the LA Dodgers. Pretty much anyone in this lineup is viable. You can go Chase Utley at first base. I don't know why he is first base, second base, but I do think the Dodgers' prices are inflated. Like Utley should not be at 4,000. Corey Seager is the most expensive shortstop, and he's well worth it. I think he has a really good game today against Colon. I think Colon maybe lasts 2 innings, and I know he said this next start is going to be indicative of if he retires or not. Sad to see him go, but Big Sexy, you might have to retire, man, because you're not going to have a good day against the Dodgers. Justin Turner, he hits righties well. He should have a field day against Cologne. Bellinger, he's in a great spot too. Cody Bellinger, and he's not as expensive as some of these other guys, so you can look towards him. Grandal, I like a decent amount at catcher. Yasmani Grandal. But he's the most expensive catcher on the slate, so I'm probably not going to pay up for him. Anyone here is really viable, guys. Really not much to say. It's Bartolo Colon. The next game on the slate, we're almost done, guys. I know it's been a very long video. Stick with me. We're almost done. Boston at Seattle. Eduardo Rodriguez against James Paxton. James Paxton is one of my it's not one of my favorite, but he's one of my favorite pitchers in baseball, just in general. But he's not in a great spot tonight against Boston. I'm going to be playing some James Paxton because Boston does let down a lot of players in DraftKings. They're not the best or most intimidating offense, so I like James Paxton somewhat, but I like some other guys like Peacock more. When it comes to it, so like for that reason, I don't like any of the Boston bats. There's no reason to play them tonight. Against Eduardo Rodriguez. Now, here's where some Seattle bats might come into play for you tournament players, you GPP players. And this is like a really GPP move. I love Gene Segura because Rodriguez, I know has good control, but if Segura can get a base hit or something, maybe work a walk to start the game, he could steal second for you. So for that reason, I do like Gene Segura. And he hits the pitches that Eduardo Rodriguez throws well. I like Danny Valencia. He hits lefties well in general. I like Nelson Cruz. I actually really like Nelson Cruz tonight. If I'm paying, Nelson Cruz is also very expensive, so I don't know if I'm paying up for him at 4,300. Mitch Haniger is another option. So is Guillermo Heredia. Those guys are both really cheap, and you can look towards Mike Zunino maybe, but not really feeling any of the hitters in this game. I'm more liking the pitchers. Here we go. Last game, guys. We've hit the last game. I know. Hopefully, you guys learned a few things here, and maybe some plays that you were thinking of, I talked you out of, or maybe some plays you didn't know of, I talked you into. Um, and so, getting right into this last game, the San Francisco Giants. My favorite play in this game is actually Denard Span at 3,900. He matches up really well against Garrett Cole. I don't know if I'm going to be playing Span, but he has a really good matchup. He matches up really well against Garrett Cole. But Garrett Cole is also one of the better pitchers on the slate, and I might need to play Garrett Cole. So I'm really conflicted right now is how I feel about this game. Besides Span, Cole really struggles with left-handed hitter guys. Garrett Cole's main concern for me is from the left-hand side of things. Um, and it's not like the Giants have the most, scary left-handed bats, but they do have some threats. Like Brandon Belt is a threat. Brandon Crawford, he's regressed severely this year, but he's also not a bad hitter. Joe Panic, same thing. Looking at it now, I'm kind of leaning more towards Garrett Cole than I'm leaning towards the Giants' bats. The other side of thing, Matt Cain is one of the worst pitchers in baseball at this point. With that being said, we are in the Giants Stadium. I think AT&T. Is it AT&T? No, it's not. Is it? Anyways, um, I don't really like targeting hitters in this stadium. Um, Adam Frazier, if he plays, you could look towards him, but that's the only one I'm going to look towards just because he has the. Where did he go? Where did Adam Frazier go? Is he in the outfield now? Hold on, let me find him for you guys. Adam Frazier, there he is. I know his price is up lately, but he's one of the few guys, in my opinion, that he could steal a base tonight. He has the ability to turn a single into a double. Josh Harrison, another guy who could steal a base for you tonight. Starling Marte definitely could steal a base for you guys tonight. But in this game, I'm not looking towards home run potential. I'm looking more towards guys who can hit a single, steal second, and do that, 2 or 3 times. Maybe 3 singles, 3 stolen bases. That's a big day in fantasy, guys. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for guys who can hit home runs here. Um, when it comes to stadiums like this, I look more towards line drive percentage rather than fly ball percentage because you want line drives into the gaps rather than fly balls. Because in such a stadium like this, fly balls turn into fly outs. And looking at Josh Bell's not a bad play. McCutcheon is never a bad play. But that's about it, guys. I'm not a huge fan of any of the hitters in this, and so I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys, maybe I talked you into some players. Like I said, I talked you out of some players. Hopefully, I talked you out of Chris Davis because I really do think he's not going to have a good day. I hope that doesn't come to bite me back in the butt. But um, that's about it, guys. Follow me on Twitter at DFS Ultra. If you're interested in my lineups, I know I've been really solid throughout this month of not just this month, but MLB season has been really profitable for my subs and me. So if you want to hop on board, just DM me at DFS Ultra on Twitter. If you want to see more videos and like this, please leave a like. Please leave any feedback in the comment section below. I know it's really long. It's a 30-minute video. If you have time, just watch the whole thing because I do think there's a lot of good insight in here for you guys. Um, like I said, I just want to help you guys, even some of those guys who can't just buy my lineups. I know there's some people that still support me who are just kind of watching. And so I hope that this is kind of for them and to my subscribers, of course. So please leave a like, any feedback. If you guys want it shorter, I can try to do that for you. Just leave a comment in the comment section, just how I could format this better for you guys. Because I know not many people, they're either at work, they don't have 30 minutes to watch a video. So I don't know how to do this that well or kind of format it for you guys, but I'm rambling now. So just, follow me on Twitter at DFS Ultra. Please leave a like, please leave comments, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.